All right, well, good morning. We are here with Dr. Bly Hatch. We are at Array Medical. Dr. Bly Hatch is a chiropractor. I'm a chiropractor. My name is Dr. Dondee Nettles, and we're here to discuss some recent findings that Dr. Bly has experienced that I got to be quite honest with you, Doc, I didn't really believe you at first. And that is that the intervertebral discs in your lower back actually got bigger and more hydrated, and even a change on x-ray, but not from the traditional things that we're familiar with, the shock wave, the decompression, the cold laser, and other things, but from a supplement, a collagen and Nrf2 activating supplement. More on that later. But first of all, again, thank you for sitting down today. And how long have you been in practice?
I've been in practice 31 years.
31 years. Now, for me, it's 25.
Okay.
And so that's why I was very skeptical when you told me what you told me. But we have to do some investigation. And, chiropractors, I'm sure most people like us are going to be skeptical when they hear things like that. They're going to be, yeah, sure. Is it, how can you prove it? Especially when I was doing some research before today, and I went to the Oregon Health and Science University website. And this is what they say. Disc degeneration, also called degenerative disc disease, is most commonly caused by age. And disc degeneration cannot be stopped or reversed. So that's the opinion of the science. And is this unique, or is this one-off, or do other people think that way? So I went to University of California, Berkeley website. Similar thing. Now, not only do they say that that is true, that you cannot stop degenerative disc disease, and you certainly can't reverse it, but they did an article here. It's called "How to Grow Back the Back: Engineered Cartilage Surfaces." So what they're doing is they're taking human cartilage, they're growing it in a dish, and then they're injecting it back into the spines of patients. Very painful, very cost prohibitive to patients. And it's experimental, and they're showing some data that's showing some increasing in disc space. But it's growing artificial collagen, or cartilage rather, and injecting it back into the spines. And I thought, well, okay, is there anything else out there? And we know that there is. There's, like I said, there's shockwave therapy, and there's decompression therapy. And so for people that are skeptical, and I would say people should be skeptical.
They definitely should be.
For the first time. So I did some research, and this is an article published on, this is the title of the research article, Restoration of Disc Space Through Non-Surgical Spinal Decompression. And as we were talking, you've got two of these units here in your practice at Array Medical Center in Surprise, Arizona. And it's associated with decreased discogenic low back pain, a retrospective cohort study. Well, what they did a study on over 35 people, age 65 is the average age, and they found that non-surgical spinal decompression was associated with a reduction in pain and an increase in disc height. Now, you already know that, because that's why you've got two of these units in your office.
Exactly.
But when I was looking at the price of these things, for people who don't know, a used one from 2006, with probably outdated parts, you can pick up on eBay for 25 grand.
Right.
25 grand. The new ones are 75 grand. And the cost to a patient for this therapy is anywhere between $3,500 and $5,000. You know that already. You have patients to go through that.
It's all cash.
And it's all cash.
Right.
And
insurances don't cover it.
Right. Because insurances don't cover it, it's coming out of pocket. Now, in this economy and the way things are going in the world, it's a little bit more difficult for, would you agree, for a patient to come up with $3,500 to $5 grand?
Yeah. I mean, things are more expensive. You think about the cost of food alone, right? $1,000 extra a month, $12,000 a year for a family of four. So it's pretty crazy. Those numbers are nuts when you think about it.
But as the business guy that you are, you've got two of these units in your office. There are people who do pay for it, right?
Yeah.
So for the people that have the budget, the people that have the desire to get out of pain, they pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think if they had an alternative that was cheaper, might they opt in?
I believe they would.
Perhaps they would.
Save money.
Right.
Right.
So, and we came from another room, and the practice here is absolutely beautiful. We've got people out there that are doing, you got stem cell injections going on in the practice, full multidisciplinary practice. And they're in the other room, there's the shockwave unit. I saw it this morning. So this is a study on shockwave, where low energy extracorporeal shockwave therapy combined with low tension traction can better reshape the microenvironment in degenerative intervertebral disc degeneration and repair. So it's published, it's true.
Yeah,
but to your, also to the cost effectiveness or cost prohibitive nature of it, these things can be upwards of $25,000 or even $80,000. I was reading an article on Stanford University. Theirs is $80,000.
Right.
Again, most insurances don't cover it. Out of pocket for the patient, they gotta pay a couple $1,000, right?
Yep.
And you're familiar with that. You've got people who do it,
I'm always happy when that happens.
right?
You know, it helps the office run better.
Helps people, and some people can afford it.
Yeah.
But then there's others who just, they would love to, they just can't.
They
And
just
that's
have to-
really why we're doing this video, for people to give them hope, or perhaps a lower, more affordable cost, or a lower, more affordable option. And I also had some experience personally in practice with low-level cold laser therapy. So I found a study on that. And its effectiveness of low-level laser therapy in patients with discogenic lumbar radiculopathy, a double-blind randomized controlled trial. So it's legit. And same story. Increased disc space, increased or decreased low back pain, increased mobility. But again, the equipment. The cost of the equipment and to the patient can be cost prohibitive to the doc, especially a new doc. And because insurance don't cover it, out of pocket for a patient can be quite cost prohibitive. But then now to the sweet spot, why we're actually here today, something I'm super excited about because to hear your side of it and what your experience has been. You said you've been in practice over 30 years, right?
Yeah, over 30 years.
Now, how long have you had low back pain and discomfort? And you told me that you were starting to run again, right?
Yeah, I'm back to running. Actually, in 1985, I had a 12-foot fall from scaffolding. Ended up in the hospital with 2 herniated lumbar discs, which a couple broken wrists supposedly, and ended up in a lot of pain. I spent 1.5 years through the work comps area trying to get out of pain. Got to a point that I could manage my pain, but was never out of pain. Always had chronic pain for the last 30 years. Okay, so for 30 years, I've been in practice 31 years. I've been in pain ever since that 12-foot fall in 1985. So it's been longer than 30 years, I guess, because I didn't figure all of my education in that time. But I've always had dull, achy pain all the time. Just never could get out of it. I mean, I go do something. If I went out and did any yard work, I could not walk the next day.
Wow.
Okay, if I went and hiked up a mountain with a 50-pound backpack, and I'm an outdoorsman. I mean, I love out, and I do a lot of outdoor stuff. If I went with a backpack, it'd take me a couple days to get back where I could recover, you know, when I got back.
And that's been going on for a few decades then.
Yeah, it's been going on for about 3 decades.
Wow. Wow. From a fall in 1985, so 39 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, do you think that your disc spaces have gotten bigger over the last 39 years or smaller?
Well, up until they were smaller for a long time, but they haven't gotten bigger.
Yeah.
So,
So that's what we're super excited about. So what you were taking, and I'm going to share with people what you've been taking. So there's a product called Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer. A lot of words there.
right.
But what it does is reduce something called oxidative stress, which is when you cut open an apple and leave it on the counter, it turns brown. That's the oxidation of the air, because we're breathing oxygen, that causes the decaying of the flesh. Apples experience it, avocados experience it, and so do we.
Right.
But we fight back. We have the defense mechanism to fight back. And that's what that supplement does, is lower oxidative stress by a minimum of 40% in just 30 days. That was great. You had been telling me your results on that. But then there's a collagen product.
Right.
Now, collagen is a big buzzword right now. Lots and lots of people are familiar with collagen, especially for bones or for hair, skin, and nails. Very, very common. In fact, this is a product that we got at Costco. So it's very, very common. But I was kind of surprised, because based on what we said, or what you shared with me, that there isn't any instructions on here to take before and after pictures.
Right.
Probably because maybe they're not expecting there to be any difference. Although it's good for the collagen, maybe it's not going to change or a recognizable change, especially with hair, skin, and nails, which is the allure. But you didn't tell me about hair, skin, and nails.
Right.
You told me about your disc spaces in your lower back. And that's, again, why I'm here. I have to tell you, I was skeptical and I was curious, because I knew we just mentioned the scientific validity behind the cold laser, the shockwave therapy, and the decompression therapy. But collagen? Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of anybody taking collagen to increase their disc space. But before I came here, because I wanted to be prepared, I looked at the disc and the makeup of the disc. Turns out that the annulus, the outer rings of the disc, is 60% collagen. And the inner part, the liquid part, that when they get a bulging disc or a slip disc or a ruptured disc, we've heard all these terms, that's 40% collagen. And so if you're taking a collagen source it makes sense, but I've never heard of anybody saying they had a better disc spaces such that you can demonstrate it on x-rays. But also what you were telling me is that this collagen is helping your body make its own collagen again,
Yes.
right?
Yep. I've been on a powdered collagen for over 15 years. I've taken a lot of powdered collagens. It has never taken away the pain. It's never increased the disc space. It's never made any physical or pain changes. If I did something, I was hurting.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the difference between a collagen supplement and what you were telling me, a collagen activator. Now, the collagen supplement or any supplement, the benefit is in the bottle. When you take what's in the bottle, you're getting something you're deficient in, and your body's going to utilize that, and you're probably going to be better off. But the activator, this was what caught me. A collagen activator literally turns on the fibroblasts in your body to start making collagen again by 100%. Now, in our field, we know this, but most people don't know that after the age of 30, your body loses 1 to 2% per year of its ability to make its own collagen. You know that, right?
Right.
Most lay people don't. I didn't read that on the label.
No.
And most people aren't familiar with that, but they're taking the supplement anyway, because there's obviously benefits to supplementing with collagen. But the benefits of producing your own collagen again by 100% was even greater. And I want to read something from a study. So those two products, they did a study of the combination of those two products. And this is what they said. It's Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer and True Science Liquid Collagen. Liquid, much more bioavailable than a powder form, even when you add it to water or whatever liquid. So this is what I said. Due to the compelling benefits of both True Science Liquid Collagen and Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer alone, global gene expression by RNA sequencing was performed to investigate if synergy existed between the two products. Now, that's some pretty scientific words to talk about the synergy or the blend of two products. Do they have an increased or synergistic effect? What they found. So fibroblasts were studied because they are an integral part of the structural organs such as the intestines, the skin, spleen, brain, skin, joints, lung, liver, kidneys, and blood vessels. That's almost everything in your body. Collagen is so prevalent. In fact, it's the #1 most prevalent protein in the entire human body of all the 20,000, right? They said, and I read an article, that if you were to just snap a finger and take all the collagen out of somebody's body, they would be an unrecognizable pile of goo on the floor.
I believe that.
Because it holds everything
Right,
together,
everything
right?
together, right?
It's the
Connected
glue
to-
that holds us all together. So what they said in this study was fibroblasts play a central role in immune response, how the body physically responds to stress. That's what got my piqued curiosity. And it says the combination of Protandim Nrf2 and the True Science Liquid Collagen showed a further unexpected synergistic effect on the activation and deactivation of pathways involved in the immune and cellular response, and specifically NF-kappa B. We don't need to go into the depths of that, but what that is, it's the master switch that allows the cells to rapidly respond to stress and other insults via activation and immune response and rebuilding tissues. So the activation component, that's fascinating. And I think if people truly grasp the difference between taking a supplement of something or turning on your body's ability to make that something again, the benefit is if you take a supplement, you take too little, you might not get the benefit you're looking for. You may still have the symptoms. You've experienced that.
Exactly.
Or you take too much, maybe you have an adverse reaction, a side effect. But in activation, your body and its infinite innate wisdom will always produce the response you need at the time you need it in the amount you need it. That's fascinating to me, Doc. So now share with me your experience. If you don't mind, can we share these x-rays?
We can share these x-rays. I'm going to start with it. When I actually heard about this coming out, so I was like, oh, a collagen. Everybody has a collagen out on the market.
Right.
You know, every human has it there. And I was like, oh, how's this going to work? What's going to be different about it? You know, because I've been taking collagen, been reading about how it's supposed to help me, you know, musculoskeletal wise. I see about 120 patients a week here when I was working on a regular basis. Now I've kind of stepped out of that role a little bit, hired other people to do that for me. I go home in pain all the time. You know, it was just, I get up and do this same grind every day.
Yeah.
Took 3-day weekends. If I go ride a long distance, I usually had to take a book and put it right under my right leg, because after a period of time, I'd start having pain, right? So, 2022, I'll just show you this x-ray right here. This is an x-ray I took in 2022. Now, the reason I took this x-ray was around Christmas time. We had a bunch of family coming to my house, right? So I was having to clean up the yard and do a bunch of other stuff. It was in a lot of pain. And so I came in and I told my associate doctor, I cannot hardly move. I feel like somebody's just crushing my legs. My right leg, I had pain going down there. Felt like I had just achy back every time I bent over. I'd adjust somebody, I'd have to push myself back up. Not a good thing for a chiropractor to do. You know,
Right.
he's in the office adjusting somebody's foot. Oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah, no pain here. You know, trying to make it through it. So he said, well, let's take an x-ray, see what's going on. So you can see these areas right here. This is in December 2022, and this was my disc space. Okay, this is, now realize I had a 12-foot fall in 1985. I had scoliosis and everything from that fall and decreased disc space. They wanted to do surgery on me. I told them no way, I'd see a chiropractor. Okay, so I seen a chiropractor, didn't want to get surgery, lumped it through it. Actually, that's what helped me become a chiropractor. Is I went to see a chiropractor that got me out of pain where I could function on a regular basis. So I said, you know what, if he's helped me, I need to do the same thing to help other people in this way. Right? Dr. John Brimall, he's been in practice over 60 years. So I thought of that here and I said, you know, when I got looking at this, I said, man, there's almost no disc space there. Didn't think much of it, got through that pain episode, right? Family left, I think it was more probably emotional. But anyway, that's beside the point. So got through that aspect of things and was doing really well. Went up to Utah in February or January, February. I don't remember the exact time when it was. And I heard about this liquid collagen and I'm going, oh great, another collagen.
Right.
Okay. Now Nrf2, I've seen some amazing results with them, with my daughter and her learning disabilities and different things. And I said, well, you know, I don't know. I'm going to try it. What do I have to lose? So about 4 months onto it, I started calling Dr. Brett Brimall, another chiropractor, by the way. And I said,
Brilliant.
hey, you got to tell me. He's on the medical board of directors of this company, right? I said, you got to tell me what is going on with this collagen. He says, I can't tell you anything. I said, well, I'm not having any pain. So I went on several months, and pretty soon my associate doctor said, well, Doc, why don't we take another x-ray? It takes my associate doctor to remind me we should take another x-ray because you had pain last year, right? So this is my x-ray in 2023. Pretty crazy. All of a sudden, I don't know if you guys can see that. That is an increase of disc space right there at the L5S1. I pretty much have nothing there. A little tiny area. This is L3, L4. I've got more disc space here. So what I've started noticing, I've started getting at, but the other thing that's amazing is where the nerve comes out of the back of the spine has started to open up because those disc space are rehydrating, right? Or increasing again. And now we're taking pressure off that nerve. And so now I don't get the pain in the back all the time. I don't get that craziness. I actually just went on a big long hike here recently with a 50-pound backpack. Had zero pain.
Wow.
So I tell people, you know, to me, I'm very convinced about it. I'm very amazed by it. Sounds too good to be true.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. And I wouldn't have believed it had I not taken another x-ray.
Yeah. And one of the things about the too good to be true nature of that is we can do research. We're living in the time, and I remember, we're both old enough to remember Encyclopedia Britannica, right?
Yeah.
Where it comes out once a year. If you find something there you don't agree with or you want more information, you got to wait a whole year for the new information to come out. But thanks to Google and Yahoo and all the other search engines out there, we can literally in a millisecond with a click of our finger on a mouse or on a touch of an app on our phone, we can get real-time data right now to validate and substantiate that. And there's a tremendous amount of research out there about the benefits of collagen, the benefits of lowering oxidative stress. What isn't well known yet is the combination of the two. And that is called being a pioneer or in the front of a global movement of something. Because once the world finds out about what you know and what you've already experienced, it's going to be a pretty amazing thing. But it's right in the beginning. It's in the inception of this combination of two products. But if you lower cellular stress and you increase by 100% the natural collagen production, it just stands to reason that we would see things like this. So in your opinion, being 31 years in practice, what do you think this could do for musculoskeletal conditions in general, but specifically with the spine with regard to disc degeneration and turning that around and actually building the disc spaces up again?
That's a great question. You know, I really think that we're on the cutting edge. Just like, I mean, I remember going to Stanford University. I went to Palmer West like you did.
Yeah.
We went to Stanford University, have to research everything over the microfilm, right? Never could find anything like this very much, right? But now we got that technology. Now we have ways to show pictures and do things. So what do I think it has? I think it's going to be a life-changing event for a lot of people in this world. We're going to see people in here that are starting to have no pain. They're starting to see things that are chronic inflammatory conditions, starting to get a better handle on. And that can mean a lot of different things, because oxidative stress is in charge of over 200 disease processes, right? So when we look at that, and so this is just back pain right now, and what's going on with the collagen and the Nrf2 together. There's other joints that we have collagenous products or disc in between that I think we're going to see some results with, some changes with, and we're going to see people starting to get better as they take a product that activates the body to do what it did when we were newborn.
Right. It's fantastic. And this is what it is. It's a single serving liquid, true science liquid collagen. Tastes amazing too. I gotta admit, it tastes amazing. It's made with fish, scales, and skin. So it's marine collagen, 10 different types, 5,000 milligrams of collagen in here. So again, we're getting the benefit of the supplementing, because there's collagen definitely in the bottle.
Right.
But one of the two, there's two things that are unique about this product. One, we already talked about, the activation of the fibroblasts in your body to make your own collagen increase by 100%. But also it slows down the breaking down of collagen. So you get the benefits longer. That's something I've never heard of before in any other collagen product, because they're certainly not advertising that part of it. They're certainly not telling you to take before and after pictures, but I'm looking at it from a chiropractic perspective, or just a musculoskeletal position in general. We are, it sounds like, for the first time in human history, creating the first generation of people that will never have to experience high levels of oxidative stress and low levels of natural collagen production in their body, when they can take a combination of products that has been shown to increase it significantly. I don't know about you, Doc, but that's what got me excited to call you up and say, hey, can we do an interview? Because I think this information is too good to hold to ourselves. In fact, I'm getting goosebumps. So what do you think about what these products for chiropractors like us, but to offer their patients, but also just the people who may be patients of a chiropractic office, but may not be? What is your vision of what the future holds for the combination of these two products?
Yeah, Dondee, I know you did mainly musculoskeletal work, right? I'm an applied kinesiology doctor.
Yeah.
I've done a ton of muscle work. So with that muscle work comes a lot of nutritional supplementation recommendations, okay? I've always been involved in taking nutrition. Our diet doesn't provide enough for us anymore. So you always have to supplement something into the body.
Right.
So supplementing back the minerals and different things you need to help yourself out is really important. But now we actually have activation. What if we could actually take those things and have our body start clicking on? So I see in our forefront of the activation portion of this, and I've actually been able to experience it the last 10 years. I've been involved in this company for 10 years.
Wow.
Okay. So when I look back at this and I watch patients that have had chronic low back pain, I've watched patients that have had shoulder problems and not being able to work with them, and watch it get better, I get amazed with it. Kids with learning disabilities. The reason I'm in this company is because I heard of a kid that had learning disabilities, and I had a daughter that had the same problem.
Wow.
Okay. We've activated her brain where it works phenomenally. She's a mom of two now, and happily married, lives in Nebraska. So I'm grateful for these products, because what we were able to do for her is activate her body to do what it needs to do to heal itself, right? It's not something that I came up with and said, oh, I got to do, this is what I want. I was looking for answers when this came to me. So that's what I'm looking for. Now, did I expect this to happen with me on my low back? No.
Right.
Am I grateful it happened? You better believe it.
Amen.
Because it's made a difference in my life. It's made a difference where I can sit in a truck and ride 5 hours if I want to. And I don't have to get out and walk out trying to get myself back in the upright position again.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of life changing. I think we have the ability to make a lot of difference in people's lives. And I expect everybody to be a little skeptical on this. If you're not, then you need to think it through, because don't just take our words for it. Figure it out and get it going.
Right. And professionally, as doctors, we have a professional and a personal reputation to uphold. We have credentials to maintain. We have licenses we want to keep. And especially when people are skeptical, they should be skeptical. in this world where information is readily available, because the skeptical person is very rarely ever taken advantage of. And the skeptical person is usually more wise than the people who aren't skeptical. Now, it's whether or not they see enough information to overcome their skepticism. And that's what I love about the research. It's not driven by anecdotal stories that you and I may share.
Right.
People can actually go and research this stuff on PubMed or Medline or whatever their choice is. The National Institutes of Health has PubMed, the largest repository of published science in the world. That's actually why I got involved with this company and why I, as a chiropractor, because I don't want to jeopardize or threaten my reputation by getting involved in something if there's no science behind it. And I don't want to be the salesperson. I don't want to be the one trying to convince or overcome somebody's skepticism, but give them enough information to make their own decision. And the thing that I love about this, Doc, is activation may be new, relatively new to you and I.
Mhm.
It's probably new to most people who are going to be watching this video, but it's not new to the people who know the value. And why I mention that is because in 2003, they finished the Human Genome Project. So for the last 21 years, we've known about the potential of activation, but there's a very, very small amount of people that are actually utilizing it and harnessing it. There's the nutrigenomic side of this, which is where we're talking about, and then there's the pharmacogenomic side of this. There's people like, well, I don't want to mention a name, but you know the owner of Amazon and Google and Apple, I can mention those two companies by name. They started companies 3 and 11 years ago, respectively, on activation of pharmaceuticals. So the pharmacogenomic side of this, why do you think that is? Because one, I think they do have altruistic reasons. And I think there's great benefits they can provide, but there's also lots of profit. And when you look at the nutraceutical side of it, when activating the body with herbs to do what it's designed to do, there's always going to be the right response in the right need at the right time for that person's unique individual needs. And there's no side effects when your body does it. The pharmaceutical side of it, you could, like I said before, you can take too little, not have the benefit you're looking for, or take too much and have an adverse reaction. You just don't have, that doesn't happen with nutraceuticals. That's why I feel so blessed and honored to be in this position, but it's just a matter of time before the world knows about this, and then they're going to have the choice. Nutraceutical side of it, more herbal side of it, natural side, or the pharmaceutical side, they get to choose. But we're already in this game. And those other companies I mentioned and those other people that are starting those companies are playing catch up on the nutraceutical or on the pharmaceutical side, the pharmacogenomic side. And it's a pretty amazing frontier when you're looking at the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what people are going to be able to experience with activation. So Doc, I'm just so thankful you started that conversation with me, that we had this talk today to give people the hope that you may have x-rays that look like that. You may have a family member who has x-rays like that and chronic pain, that we now have hope. What would you say to that?
I say amen to that. I mean, 100%. When you think about this and where we're headed in the research, and we're early to the ball game, right? That's
Yeah.
what I always like to say. I'm grateful I got involved in this company because I'm seeing my personal story unfold here.
Right.
Things that I needed to do to be healthy and well. So I think this is going to be in the future the way of medicine, the way of nutrition, the way of health.
All right, so final question here before we wrap.
Okay.
Do you think knowing this information and being able to utilize it in your practice here with all the other things that you're doing, do you think it's made you a better doctor and given you more arrows in your quiver?
Definitely. I can tell you, just knowing the information, being able to deliver my knowledge that I know about this to a patient and tell them, have faith in me, do this for 3 months. That's all I'm asking you to do. That's where I want you to start. And if this is going to benefit you and help you, then let's look at this as long-term. I've got people that have been on this for 10 years. I got people that will not go off of this because they've been on it.
Yeah.
Okay. I have, we have a diabetic treatment center here. I have some of my type 1, type 2 diabetic people on those things. And we're seeing results in helping them maintain a better blood sugar type situation. So it's very interesting when we get into this. So not only are we seeing it on the musculoskeletal side, but we're seeing it on the physiological side of our body, right? So when we think of those things, that's what we're trying to do, is help people gain that freedom, not just in financial or good physical ability to do things, but also to just live the best lives they can live.
Certainly. Wow. I want to steal a quote from Tony Robbins when he says, the knowledge is potential power, but the activation of knowledge is the actual power. So when we have knowledge, and you've got that knowledge, and you've got now those extra opportunities to share with patients a benefit, you've got extra arrows in your quiver, and you know it's making you a better doctor. I look forward to the doctors that see this information and want more information. And to that end, if you want information, if you want more information about what we're talking about today, click the link below or get back to the person who shared this video with you. We thank you for your time. Thank you for your time,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Hatch. Again, just incredible information. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you. Glad to be on.
Awesome.
So Dr. Bly, I would really love to know why you became a medical professional in the first place.
You know, I became a medical professional when I was helped, okay? Because I was given that torch, that ability to help myself, I wanted to take that torch and help other people. And that's why I became a chiropractor. That's why I got into the alternative medicine. I was helped by a doctor that was able to get me back on my feet and help me see a way that I didn't have to have surgery or have some type of drastic intervention or long-term medications, right? He said, let's try it this way and let's see if we can get you well. Did it take a little bit longer? Yeah, it probably took a little bit longer because it didn't just cover or mask up the pain. But what it did do is it gave me back my freedom. Even though I still had chronic low back pain, I was still able to do things. I was able to go back.
Oh, that's amazing. So as you were talking there, you were talking about not just covering up the pain. So how important is it to go to the root cause of something instead of just kind of putting a Band-Aid on it? Because a lot of the times medications and certain treatments can be a Band-Aid, yet going to the root of what's happening. Why is that important?
You know, if you have a broken water line, okay, and you got water coming out everywhere, and all you do is you go turn off your faucet, and you don't go in to find where that broken water line is, you're going to continue to have water leaking out on the lawn or water leaking out in the house and creating other problems, right? So you've got to go to the root cause. You've got to stop the thing that's creating the problem and help it get back where it needs to be. So those are the things that we need to look at, is how do we go to that, go to the root cause, go to what's going on. And that's what I loved about my chiropractic education. That's what we went to. We went to the root cause of the problem.
That's so good. Because also going to the root cause means that you are actually coming up with a solution to the problem. And so it means that you're actually coming to a happy ending, right? Instead of the continuation of putting Band-Aid after Band-Aid on. Would you agree?
I would agree 100%, yeah.
Okay.
Because you can put a Band-Aid on a bleeding artery, but if you don't get it stitched up, you're going to continue to bleed.
So true, so true. Okay, so one last thing. So during the interview with Dr. Dondee, you guys talked about a lot of different modalities that you offer in your practice, and also how much it costs. It's a lot. It's a lot. I know that the majority of people cannot afford those things coming out of their own pockets. And so how important is it for them to have another option that for around $200 a month, they can have the results that you showed on your x-rays?
Tremendously. You know, you think about what's going on. I mean, in the medical field, there's less and less covered by our insurance now.
Right.
Okay, so realize that there's less getting covered. When you come and see me and we present a plan to you, there's going to be things that are not going to be covered by the insurance, right? And so what we need to do is we have to come up with a cash option for them at that point. So we collect that money up front because they're going to get it throughout the treatment. We don't want to have them pay every time they walk out the door. So we collect that up front to help them get better, for people to get better. Take some money out of the situation.
Yeah, so good. Okay, I said that was the last question, but I oftentimes fib when I'm talking about questions. So one final question. What about the convenience of these products? Because you close your doors, right? And you're closed, you have office hours. And so if a patient needed to come in for a treatment and you weren't open, they'd have to wait, right? To be able to get that. With these amazing activators, they can actually be shipped to their home and you don't have to keep an inventory. How convenient is that for you and your patient?
It's really, really convenient. I carry less nutrition in my office now than I did before. If you'd walk into my office at any time, I had between $40,000 and $50,000 worth of supplementation on my shelves.
Wow.
Okay, because I had several different companies I was using, right? And now what I went to is just a couple of companies now that I work with, and this is one of them. okay? And the thing I love about this one is this one actually helps people start getting their bodies working out as supposed to. And so I see them less. Okay, now is that good for me? It is. You know why? Because they're gonna tell at least 2 people about me.
Yeah.
If I don't get them well, they'll tell 15 people about me. But that's the thing, so we have to look at it in a positive way that, you know what? We are helping people get well. We're about solutions, not just keeping us in practice.
Oh, so good. Well, thank you so much
So
for
good.
those extra questions.
You're welcome.
Yes.